You saw the title of the video, and yes, I absolutely mean it. Jack Della Maddalena is by far the worst current champion we have in the UFC, and this guy is going to get rolled by Islam Makhachev. Now, before everybody gets all up in arms about what I just said, no, I don't hate JDM. Obviously, I like JDM. He seems like a good guy. He's an entertaining fighter. And no, I'm not some Dagestani meat rider. I don't just glaze him all the time. This is just truly what I feel, and I feel JDM just isn't holding up to the standard of the other UFC champions right now. And a lot of you guys, yes, you watching, you guys are overrating this guy for no reason. He's going to get rolled by Islam. I said it once, I'll say it again, but let me explain. We're going to go through each and every UFC champion, and I'm going to explain why JDM is worse than all of them. And I think by the end of the video, you will agree. We're going to go through all the champions starting from the bottom, and we're going to start with Alexandre Pantoja versus Jack Della Maddalena. I don't think this one needs much explaining, but we can go through it if you want. We have Jack Della Maddalena, one title win versus Belal Muhammad in what I would consider a close championship fight, as opposed to Alexandre Pantoja, who has 5 championship wins, the last 2 of those in dominant submission fashion over Kai Asakura and Kai Kara France. Guys, in my eyes, he is already the second greatest flyweight of all time. Some of you guys watching this video call him the GOAT at flyweight over Demetrius Johnson already. Me personally, I think that is ridiculous and way too soon. Once again, he has 5 title wins. Demetrius Johnson had 11. 11 title wins versus 5. I don't care if you're the next era, the next generation where all the fighters are so much better. 11 versus 5, you're not going to convince me here. But that's not the point. The point is we have 5 title wins versus 1. This guy's best win, Belal Muhammad, great win. Who is Jack Della Maddalena's second best win? Gilbert Burns, a washed Gilbert Burns in a fight he was actually down in the scorecards on? Come on now, what are we talking about? The answer here is very clearly Alexandre Pantoja. And I'm a guy who actually thinks Alexandre Pantoja is becoming overrated. I don't think he's top 3 pound for pound. I don't think he's the greatest flyweight of all time. But he's still a dog. He's better than Jack Della Maddalena. If these guys are the same size, give me Jack Della Maddalena to lose by submission. Alexandre Pantoja is no doubt a better champion than Jack Della Maddalena. So we're 0 for 1 for JDM. He's 0 for 1 in terms of being better than other champions. Next up, we move up to 135 bantamweight, where we have my glorious king, Merab the Machine Dvalishvili. And once again, is this one I really need to explain myself on? How many of you JDM glazers are going to sit here and tell me that Merab Dvalishvili is a worse fighter than JDM? Come on, now let's be serious. Let's have a serious conversation here. Merab is well on his way to become the bantamweight GOAT. In fact, 90% of you guys watching this video already call him the bantamweight GOAT. Me personally, I still think it's Dominic Cruz. I know you guys will yell at me for that, but I think Merab is well on his way to become the bantamweight GOAT. I think he's already the best bantamweight of all time, and I am predicting with his next championship win over Peter Yan, he will overtake Dominic Cruz and be the bantamweight GOAT. But regardless of that fact, JDM is nowhere near the GOAT of his division. We have GSP. We have Kamaru Usman. We have Matt Hughes. We have Tyron Woodley. All these guys are over JDM. Merab is so much better than JDM. It's not even close. This guy is going to be a long-term champion. Already has been a long-term champion. He's got the 3rd longest win streak in UFC history now. If you're going to look at me, you JDM glazer watching this video who clicked here to hate, and tell me that JDM is better than Merab, you're out your mind. So JDM, I'm sorry. You're 0 for 2. You are not better than Pantoja. You're not better than Merab. You're 0 for 2 in terms of being better than current UFC champions. Next up, we got JDM versus Volk, and I know some of you guys are going to argue for JDM here, and let me tell you something. You have a point. No, you don't have a point. You are out of your mind if you think JDM is better than Volk. Alexander Volkanovski is one of the 10 greatest fighters of all time. In fact, I think he's competing to be in that 5th spot as the 5th greatest fighter of all time. John Jones, Anderson Silva, GSP, Demetrius Johnson. That 5th spot is open. The top 4 could interchange in whatever order you want, but that 5th spot's open, and Alexander Volkanovski is right there. I know he's not at his absolute prime anymore. I would say his peak was like the Korean Zombie fight, the 3rd Max Holloway fight. That was about his peak. But you know what? This guy's still the champion. He just beat Diego Lopez 49-46, looked really good. I think he is the best featherweight in the world. I think he beats Gene Silva. I think he beats Evloev. I think he crushes Lerone Murphy. I think he beats everyone there. He beats Evloev. I mean, Volk is great. I think he is more skilled than Jack Della Maddalena. I think he's quicker. I think he's a better boxer. He's a better kicker. He's a better grappler. The only thing JDM has over Volk, in my opinion, is his chin. And you know what? Almost everybody in the UFC has a better chin than Volk. If Volk had a great chin, he'd probably be the greatest fighter of all time. That's his one huge glaring weakness. But let's not overthink this, guys. I know Volk isn't at his peak, sure, but JDM's not better than Volk. Don't disrespect Alexander the Great like that. One of our legends, always a good guy. I know that doesn't matter anything. That doesn't mean anything in this argument, but Volk is still better than JDM at this point in time. So I'm sorry, JDM, you are now 0 for 3 in terms of being better than the current UFC champions. Not better than Pantoja, not better than Merab, not better than Volk. You're over 3. On to the next. Guys, do I even have to go over Ilia Topuria, my glorious king, the greatest fighter of all time, the greatest athlete of all time, the slayer of kings? This guy, Ilia Topuria, knocked out Alexander Volkanovski in the second round. Knocked out Volk at or near his peak. What does he do next? Knocks out a peak prime Max Holloway in round 3 in a scrap of a fight. He was going back and forth. He took some shots from Holloway, but then knocked him out. What does he do next? Goes up a weight class to 155. Keep in mind, Topuria is naturally a bantamweight. That's where he started his career. Goes up to 155 lightweight and knocks out Charles do Bronx Oliveira. I know some of you guys say the video is AI. I have my speculations. I saw the little Sora watermark there. Maybe it wasn't real, but if we are running under the assumption the Topuria KO of Oliveira was real, how are you going to say JDM's better? You really think JDM could go up to 185 and knock out Chimaev or DDP? That would never happen. That's something only Ilia Topuria does. Guys, Topuria is number 1 pound for pound. I don't even feel like explaining myself here. Peak for peak, Topuria may be the greatest fighter I've ever seen. I'd say he is number 1, number 2, or number 3 greatest striker I have ever seen. Peak for peak, it's like him, Anderson Silva, Alex Pereira are probably at the top for me. Topuria is a dog. He's better than Makhachev. Yeah, he is better than Makhachev, but he's better than JDM. I actually think if Topuria went up to 170, he'd KO JDM as well. But that's not even what I'm arguing because he's a featherweight. But the point is, none of you guys, even the biggest JDM glazers in the world, are arguing with a straight face that JDM is better than Topuria. So, JDM, update. You are now 0 for 4. You're not better than Pantoja. You're not better than Merab. You're not better than Volk. You're not better than Topuria. On to the next. Next up, Della Maddalena versus Khamzat Chimaev. I already know this is where some of you sneaky JDM glazers and some of you sneaky Khamzat Chimaev haters are going to come in and say, well, I actually think JDM's a better fighter than Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat's so inactive. He has bad cardio. He can't strike. I take JDM. Cut it out, man. Cut it out. There is no world where JDM is better than Khamzat Chimaev. Let's just compare each of their 1 championship fights, okay? JDM fought Belal Muhammad, a guy who had 1 title win. And he beat him in a close 48-47, 49-46 decision. He looked good. What does Khamzat Chimaev do in his 1 title fight? 1, he fights Dricus du Plessis, who is a better, more accomplished fighter than Belal Muhammad. Dricus had 3 title wins, I think. A lot of people thought Dricus was well on his way to becoming the best middleweight ever. I heard some of you guys saying that. Don't act like people weren't saying that. They were. And what does Khamzat Chimaev do? He delivers in what is my opinion, the most dominant decision performance in UFC championship history. I had a 50-43. I think the judges had a 50-44. Could have been a 50-42. Khamzat Chimaev dominated Dricus du Plessis. Dricus just couldn't get up. I have never seen somebody impose their will more in a championship fight than I did with Khamzat Chimaev versus DDP. I will promise you one thing. Even if JDM goes on a long championship run, which he won't, he's going to lose to Islam Makhachev. But even if he did, he will never deliver a performance to the caliber of what Khamzat Chimaev did versus DDP. So if you think Khamzat's boring, you're wrong, but okay. If you think Khamzat's inactive, you're right, okay. If you just hate Khamzat for whatever reason, sure, you could have your reasons. But don't sit here and tell me that JDM is a better fighter than Chimaev. That is you being biased. You're being a hater to Chimaev and a glazer to JDM. Chimaev's a better fighter than JDM. So, guess what? JDM, 0 for 1 versus Pantoja, 0 for 2 versus Merab, 0 for 3 versus Volk, 0 for 4 versus Topuria. He is now 0 for 5. He is not better than Khamzat Chimaev. Let's see if light heavyweight will do our boy JDM any favors. Now, just a couple weeks ago when Magomed Ankalaev was a champion, you would have had an argument that JDM is not the worst champion of the UFC because you could argue it was Magomed Ankalaev. They both had 1 title win, both in decision format, close fights. But guess what? Magomed Big Ank isn't the champion anymore. We have Poatan Hands of Stone. Alex Pereira's back, baby. Let's go. But the point is, Poatan, arguably a top 10 fighter of all time. In my eyes, no doubt a top 20, probably top 15 fighter of all time now at this point. How many of you guys are going to sit here and argue that Della Maddalena is a top 20 fighter of all time already? I mean, let's just look at the resumes. 2 best wins. Belal Muhammad, Gilbert Burns. Alex Pereira, Israel Adesanya, Yuri Prohashka, Yuri Prohashka, Jan Blachowicz, Magomed Ankalaev, Khalil Roundtree, Jamal Hill. Pereira has, and Sean Strickland too, Pereira has 8 wins, better than all but one of JDM's wins. And you could also just use the eye test, guys. JDM is not finishing and dominating people the way Alex Pereira is. Let's not overthink this. All you guys were just glazing Alex Pereira, saying how great he is. He just entered top 10 all-time talks. He's passed Daniel Cormier and Khabib on the GOAT list. I don't agree with those points, but he is over JDM. How many of you guys are arguing with a straight face JDM is better than him? Probably not a lot of you. So for keeping track, JDM is now 0 for 6 with only one chance left. Is he better than our current heavyweight champion? Let's go on to the next. Guys, are you seeing who that is top right of your screen? That is Tom Aspinall. Fastest average fight time in UFC history. This guy finishes everybody in the first round. Are we sitting here saying JDM is better than Tom Aspinall? Because I know I'm not. Tom Aspinall is one of the most dominant fighters I've ever seen, the most prolific finisher of fights outside of Francis Ngannou, perhaps in the history of the UFC. This guy finishes everybody in the first round. Are we really saying JDM is better? I'm not. So, fellas, I think I proved my point. JDM is now 0 for 7. Jack Della Maddalena is the worst current champion we have in the UFC. He's not better than Alexandre Pantoja, 0 for 1. He's not better than Merab Dvalishvili. No way, that's 0 for 2. He's not better than my glorious king Volk. That's 0 for 3. He most certainly is not better than number 1 pound for pound Ilia Topuria. 0 for 4. He's definitely not better than Khamzat Chimaev, who just had one of the most dominant performances we've ever seen. 0 for 5. Is he better than Alex Poatan, Hands of Stone Pereira? A bunch of you guys say he's a top 10 fighter of all time. Are you saying JDM's also top 10? No, you're not. 0 for 6. And then finally, at heavyweight, we have Tom Aspinall, probably the most prolific finisher we've seen in the UFC ever outside of maybe Francis Ngannou. JDM's not better than him. Guys, if you're keeping track, 0 for 6. JDM, whether you like him, whether you hate him, you could respect him, but I think the facts prove themselves. He is the worst current champion we have in the UFC, and I'm not a JDM hater. I like the guy, but we just have a really good crop of champions right now. So when I say JDM's overrated, when I say JDM is the worst current champion we have, am I wrong to say that? I don't think I am. Which one of the guys I just listed is he better than? Volkanovski? I wouldn't say so. Pereira? No. Aspinall? No. You're definitely not saying Pantoja, Merab, or Topuria. You're definitely not saying Chimaev. I think JDM's the worst champ we have. So let me know, guys. Am I out of my mind? Am I underrating Jack Della Maddalena? And if I am, I need a good explanation from you guys on which one of those champions I just listed is worse than JDM, because I don't think I'm wrong here, but I'd love to be proven wrong in the comments. And if you're still watching this video right now, you've been here with me for a minute, you might as well subscribe. I promise you'll like my videos. I'm going to be churning them out a lot. Come with me on this journey. We're going to take over MMA YouTube. Let's go. Let me know what you want to see down below, and thank you for watching. I really appreciate it.